here again to do a chatty get ready with me. I enjoyed the comments from my last one, and I realized that, like, as much as it is easier for me to film shorter, you know, TikToks and Instagrams and stuff, there is something about being able to sit down and just talk about the things that I've been wanting to talk about. Because I know there are a lot of people that miss the longer form content rather than just all the short form, really quick stuff. So here we are. I'm probably going to be talking a lot about makeup-y stuff today. First of all, I fake tanned last night. That's a new update if you haven't been following along closely on Instagram. I am taking a break from loving tan for the moment just because I use them exclusively for like 8 years. And that's something that I'm also trying to move away from, is being so fiercely loyal to brands, because I don't actually have anything to gain from that. It's only the brand that has something to gain from that, which, you know, that's fine. But like, I was so worried for so long that if I used like Bondi Sands when I was also using Loving Tan, that people would think that I was like a sellout or that I wasn't trustworthy or whatever. But I've realized that people are going to make those assumptions about me regardless. So I may as well use what I actually like using and share that. And the people that are like decent people will understand that. God forbid I use 2 products at once. And I say that people actually, like, I used Sunsilk for a year straight. No sponsorships. They never even reached out to me once. And the moment I used another brand, I had all these people like, oh my gosh, she's a sellout. She's jumping from brand to brand. So after that, I'm like, stuff you guys, like those people, not you guys. I'm gonna do what I wanna do. And if you have a problem with that, then scream into a pillow, because it's none of my business. So I've been experimenting with, other fake tan brands recently. Mainly Bondi Sands, their mousse, the Ultra Dark Aero Mousse, I think it's called. That is what I'm wearing today, and I have really been enjoying it. The first time I tried it, I was like, no way, this is like, I look like the Hulk. I was green, but this is such a beautiful color. I washed it off this morning. This is such a beautiful color. For reference, I did tan my forehead, and I, for the first time, put it on my cheekbones to like do what everyone else does, that little like natural contour thing. I feel like with age, my cheekbones are hollowing out, which I love. I always wanted to have hollower cheekbones because I've got such a long face, so I love that with age I'm getting that. I like how it kind of just bronzes up my cheekbones a little bit, but I don't have it here. I've realized that I think the fake tan flares up my perioral dermatitis, so that's my actual skin color. And that's the tan. And I'm wearing my original engagement ring. It's too big. It's half the reason why I don't wear it. And I don't like wearing, it's like, it gets caught and stuff, and I hate that. It makes me, I just hate the feeling. That's why I don't wear jewelry often, because it's too much like, it's just, gets caught. Anyway, yeah. I've been in the mood to wear it recently. I think a lot of also not wanting to wear this, if I'm perfectly honest, is that I wanted this to be moissanite from the beginning, because I did not value diamond rings. Like, I don't care about weddings. I don't care about big fancy dresses. I'm actually averse to all of that. I'm gonna put some foundation on before I keep yapping away. I've got this one and this one. I want to use this, but it's too light. So I'm just gonna use the Mecca Max one again. I do love this, but I've just been using it like consistently, and I want to use something different. It's the Mecca Max Life Proof Second Skin Foundation in the shade 220. I wanted it to be moissanite, so this is moissanite. Because it's so much cheaper, it looks just as beautiful. I don't value diamonds, and considering how expensive they are, like, I would rather that money go towards our house or something like that's actually going to appreciate in value. So I love that this looks beautiful, but it is way more affordable than a diamond would have been. But because I went that route, and because it actually is, like, to be honest, if the ring was made again, I'd get it like half the size, because this is what I originally like wanted many years ago when Reese and I talked about this kind of thing. So I think I felt like people would think like, oh, she thinks that she's tricking us all into thinking she's got a big time, which is so embarrassingly stupid. One single person on this planet was thinking what I thought they were thinking. But like, I wanted it to be fake, but I didn't want to be perceived as someone who was trying to get this like 10-carat stone on her finger and trick everyone into thinking that my partner spent like $1 million on it or something. Like, but again, there's nothing wrong with that either. If like that's the path you want to go, that is not the path I was trying to go in. So I felt like this weird feeling about it, and then also it was just very blingy. I just don't wear jewelry. Like, I've started to wear earrings, but I just never wear jewelry. The only other jewelry I've ever worn consistently was a promise ring that Reese gave me, and it was just a plain band like that. Since then, like, I bought other like cheapy moissanite, just plain bands that I wear when I want to wear something on my finger, but I don't want it to be getting caught and stuff, you know? So it is a beautiful ring, and again, it needs to be resized. It's really, really beautiful, but I have to be in the mood to want to wear something like this, and it's still a bit showy for me. And I've spoken about this to Reese, and he understands. He understands. If I had known he was planning on proposing, I probably would have snuck in there quickly and been like, hey, just a heads up. But I didn't realize, so I can call him my husband. I think that is honestly what means the most to me more than anything. Everything else is like, every other part of our lives we share, so it's not like it'd be a huge change in that regard. And we don't want to have kids, so it isn't like we need to have the same last name. And that's the thing as well, like I'm gonna keep my last name. Like I love the idea of us having the last name, like I want us to share a last name, but I don't want to give up mine and he doesn't want to give up his. And so like we're both like, all right, we'll just keep our own. Yeah, you can double barrel it, but I don't want to have like Lauren Curtis and then his last name. It's just, I just can't, like my last name is my identity. I could never imagine it. That's the most foreign thought to me. Of course, like it's the norm, so I'm not judging you if you do. I couldn't care less what you do with your name, and it's different when you've got families and kids, like you want to have the same last name. I totally get that. But no, I feel protective over my last name. And it's probably also a lot of that is because of like social media and what I've built for myself here, like under my actual name. Anyway, enough of that. This really is a beautiful foundation. Like look at that. I used to feel guilty about making long videos because I'm like, no one's gonna watch that. And a lot of people won't watch the whole thing. Like a lot of people will like dip out after the first few minutes. But a lot of people do what I do and have a YouTube video on in the background while they do something else, like while they work or while they cook or clean or whatever. So shout out to you guys who are doing two things at once right now. I spoke a couple of months maybe ago about like I've been trying to find the right kind of like workout fitness journey for me. And I was doing body pump, which is a Les Mills class, which is basically low weight but high reps. And I was finding that I was getting like injured in terms of like my wrists were getting really sore. I was getting sore legs because I just don't believe in that kind of workout. I just don't think it is the best kind of workout for people. I like heavy weight, low reps. Controlled. When you're in one of those classes, you're trying to keep up with the music, you're trying to keep up with the instructors, and they're going a million miles an hour, and there are like a lot of older women in there, and I don't know how they do it. They must have a really, really low weight or just be really fit, because if my knees and stuff are hurting and I'm like 31, I don't know, I just wasn't feeling like I was getting the results I wanted from that. And then at the same time, I was also doing RPM, which is like a spin class. I used to hate cardio. Like when I had my personal trainer, I used to hate cardio. But now I completely dropped pump. I'm using the Hourglass Vanish Cream Concealer in the shade Birch. I saw a video of a makeup artist who puts her concealer on her hand like this instead of putting it on her face, and how as you get older, it's way more flattering. So I've been doing that recently and I've been enjoying it. Actually, no, but I do like to put, damn it, I've just put it back into the tubes. It's gonna have more product on it. I do like to do it on the bridge of my nose to kind of sculpt my nose. It's like a reverse contouring. Yeah, so anyway, I got rid of those classes and have just been doing RPM. Again, spin class, like cycling. And I've been really enjoying it. I know I should be doing some kind of strength as well. I find that I just don't have the motivation to do it at the moment. I need to get into Pilates or something. Even that's not as good as actually like weightlifting. It increases your appetite a lot because it's so high intensity. But with, a lot of women were saying that with like Pilates and other forms of exercise or like zone 2 cardio, which anyway, yeah, like you're getting really great benefits, but it's not so strenuous on your body, especially as a woman. The best kind of exercise is what you'll stick to. And I feel like at this point in my life, that's working quite well for me. I also want to talk about food and like my relationship with food. At some point, I don't know if people want to hear that. I feel like really iffy talking about that kind of thing these days because I know like, I don't know, I know that's a tricky thing for some people. But I'm not talking about dieting. God, no, I would never talk about dieting. I don't believe in dieting, but it's just like, I didn't really used to have the best relationship with food and it's gotten so much better. And I just find the whole thing really interesting. I have talked about it on my Instagram stories before, but again, I just feel like it's like a minefield. I don't want to upset anyone. I watched a really interesting episode on Insight, if you're in Australia. I think it's on SBS or ABC. I think it was called trigger warning, which was so interesting to me. It was about trigger warnings and whether or not we should use them and stuff. And it really changed my perspective on it. There was one lady who had lost her daughter to, I can't remember how she lost her, but it was really horrible. And she talks about it often on her social media platforms. And people were saying like, it's really triggering, blah, blah, blah. And she was saying, are we using the term triggered instead of just using the word uncomfortable? Like, are you actually like triggered? The term triggered came out of apparently domestic violence, like forums online in which women were talking about like domestic violence, and there were trigger warnings and stuff there because obvious reasons. And now it's kind of evolved into this whole other thing. And sometimes you wonder, like, does this make you uncomfortable, or are you actually like triggered, like your fight or flight triggered? And I thought, what's one thing that like I cannot watch? And for me, it's anything to do with animal cruelty, or like animal cruelty in movies, or anything to do with it. Like, I will not watch a scene with that kind of thing in it. I can't deal with it. That doesn't trigger me though. Like, I don't have like a visceral response. I just get really stressed or really sad, and I can't stop thinking about it. But that's more inclined to make me uncomfortable then, isn't it? I'm uncomfortable. I'm not like, my fight or flight isn't being triggered. I don't know, which is really interesting. I love those kinds of shows because it presents you both sides of an argument, whereas before you may have only thought of one, because we do all kind of exist in an echo chamber these days. I use one of these little puffs for my under eye powder. You'd think one of these kinds of powder puffs would pack on powder and make your makeup look super cakey. I've had the opposite experience. I don't know how that works. How does that work? You'd think a brush would be so much like a lighter application. This is so much better. And this Kosas powder, love it. If you've ever used MAC Mineralized Skin Finish, this is like that. It's the Kosas Cloud Set in Airy. Oh, back in the day, I used to put things up to the camera. So what I do with this, wait, no, I'm getting ahead of myself. That was lucky. I nearly forgot my favorite new product. This is the Nude Sticks Nudies Matte All Over Face Bronze Body Color in Bondi Bell. I still wonder, like, by the time I go to apply this, and then I actually like blending it out with my concealer brush. Sometimes when you use a cream on top of your foundation or whatever, it can take off the makeup underneath. This, I don't know, I think I'm just convinced myself that using my concealer brush, which has makeup already on it, to blend something out is a better way of doing it rather than using a fresh, clean brush. There's probably no difference. I think this just blends really nicely. Oh my God, I love this. Damn it, what was I saying before? I knew that was gonna happen. I struggle having a single train of thought at any given moment. This is really nice. I love it. I was sent it in PR the other day. That's something as well when you're getting older. When I was younger, we'd be filling in here and a little bit lower because you've got a fuller face, you know? And you're creating the illusion of a cheekbone up here and then a shadow beneath it. Whereas when you're getting older, like I've actually got, that is actually a shadow now. So if I were to put darker color here, it's making my face look longer and more like, but it looks a bit more firm. Or if you just kind of do it on like the lowest, like the furthest I'll bring that down is on the actual shadow itself, and everywhere else I'm blending it upwards. So it kind of provides a bit of lift and support for that cheekbone. And I'm always tapping it in. I would never swirl, again, because I'm trying not to remove my makeup underneath. That's what I was saying. By the time you end up powdering, like how much of this is invisible? I always wonder, like I see other people do their makeup. Stunning cream products everywhere, cream highlighters, really glossy, like base, dew, and then everything gets covered with powder. I'm like, did we just waste like an hour of our time doing all of this? At the end of the day, I can't see any of it anymore. It's all just been covered with powder. I don't know, I just like doing it. I just enjoy the actual process of doing it. You can actually see the fake tan underneath my foundation, which is interesting. It looks like I've already kind of bronzed, contoured there. Today on my Instagram stories, I was talking about my hair. As you can see, like that's basically everything you can see is my natural color. And now I'm only getting a half head of foils because I'm trying to get my natural color to grow out underneath, which it is. On top, I still have the blonde, which I'll probably get forever. And I just like how it has more dimension than just my plain block color. But I was talking about how, like, since I've been talking so much about Pantene and even Sunsilk before, and I did a thing for Garnier, like supermarket shampoo, basically. I feel really uneasy with hairdressers. Like even my own hairdresser, they're really good at what they do. She's lovely. I always go to the same woman. She's the owner of the place that I go to. But long story short, like I can tell she's not comfortable with me using especially Pantene. And I understand that like a lot of hairdressers still believe in those myths, and so naturally they're going to be, you know, nervous because they think that if you use supermarket shampoo, your hair's gonna erupt into flames basically. Like I know that's not what they actually think, but you know, that whole hot foils thing, which I've talked about many times now on my TikTok and my Instagram, if you would like to know the full backstory, if you haven't been following along. It's all on TikTok, it's all on Instagram. I haven't wanted to go back because I know how they feel about it, and I don't want to have those awkward conversations. It actually kind of annoys me more than anything that, because I've seen like top TikTok hairdressers. One of them's in Perth. Her name's Kim from, I think it's a Boho Blonde. Someone tagged me in her video. This is the Nude Sticks Nudies Matte All Over Blush color in Sun-Kissed Pink. Love this color. Beautiful formula as well. She was doing like a lesson. You know how like hairdressers often do that? They'll like do like they teach other hairdressers like to do a little, what do they call it? A little class thing? What's it called? There's a word for it. I can't remember what it is. I use a different brush for blush because it's pink. And she said something along the lines of she doesn't care what products her, or I'll sometimes even just go like this. Doesn't care what haircare products her clients are using, because it doesn't matter. And I was like, oh my God, thank you so much. It's so nice seeing top hairdressers acknowledge the fact that like the risk is not in the haircare that you're using, it's in the quality of your water more than anything. If you've got really hard water with a lot of minerals in it, that is what is likely to react with the chemicals in the bleach. Like I've spoken about this in depth. I'm not going to go into it here, but yeah, it's always supermarket shampoos and conditioners. And also they have, this is what I get in trouble for saying, like they have something to gain by not promoting supermarket shampoos. Like I'm just editing this with my neon pink light, so don't mind that. But also a lot of hairdressers come at me and say, oh, she's just, who's paying her this time? They always used to say that about Sunsilk. And even just random people that aren't even hairdressers, oh, they must be paying her a lot. Oh, brain dead. Anyway, that's always their insult. As if receiving money to talk about something that you actually use and believe in is a sin. When, guess what you do every single day in your salon? You push your products onto the people that are receiving a service. So it's okay for you to promote something in exchange for money, but when I do it, I'm morally corrupt and a sellout. Okay. They are obviously losing money if people aren't buying salon quality products. At the end of the day, it does affect their bottom line as well. And I'm not trying to like ruin their business or whatever. Obviously, I'm just trying to let people know that if they can't afford those products, and if they don't necessarily want to use those products, or if they're not working for their hair, the expensive products, then they can switch to supermarket shampoo and their hair isn't going to fall out like they've been led to believe. To bring this whole thing back, I'm a little bit annoyed that my hairdresser's still kind of anyway, I don't know. It's hard because I think she's lovely and I want to, like, you know, I think she's great at what she does, but I wish people were more open to changing their opinion on things when they've been presented with scientific reasons as to why what they've believed before may not be accurate anymore, or may have never been accurate. So now I've kind of been like avoiding going back, even though my regrowth is like, you can't really see, but it's like there. Look how shiny my hair is. Anyway, yeah, I've been kind of avoiding going back because I just feel I'm a little bit annoyed, I'm a little bit self-conscious, yeah. And I kind of get anxiety going into, not anxiety, I don't know if I want to call it anxiety, but a little bit nervous going into hairdressers. I always have, as like so many people, and I don't like, I'm so private that I don't like when they ask you personal questions and then every single person in that same, like there's like 10 people like all around you and they're hearing all the answers to your questions. And when a lot of questions are like personal, like even if they're, especially if they're about where I live or something like that, I feel really uncomfortable in that situation. So I'm thinking I need to find a hairdresser that works from home and specializes in blonde. It's really scary for me to go to a new blonde place. I'm scared to go to any new places. It was a big deal for me to even change hairdressers in the first place. Yeah, I feel like my gut's just not sitting. I don't know. It's hard because they're so lovely. All the girls there are so lovely. The owner's so lovely. But this is like a fundamental thing that whether like, I don't know, just it's when we're not aligning and I feel tension and I don't want to go somewhere where I feel tense. Okay, I'm gonna apply some of this. This Kosas Cloud Set powder may be the only product that I can't remember the last product that I ran out of and repurchased. I don't know, I think because I don't often use, I don't wear makeup that often, so I'm not always applying it and going through it quickly. But yeah, that's a big deal for me to buy a new product. I haven't done it in so long. Obviously, besides my own lounge face products, but I just order those off my own website. I like to do it on the bridge of my nose too, pushing it in. What I don't like about filming these longer form videos is that I hate editing them. Oh, editing's the worst. It takes so long. If this video is an hour, it only takes like 2 hours or 3 hours. I know it isn't like, it's not hard work. I'm not saying, oh, it's so tough to be me. It's just boring. It's really boring. And hearing yourself speak about the things you just spoke about, ugh. If Reese ever watches my stories when I'm in the same room as him, I just have to shout over the top of it, like, stop, nope. Can't hear myself. Ugh. So cringy. How nice does that look? So just blurred. Ugh. Effort into YouTube because it's the only platform that I actually make money from uploading. Instagram I make money, but that's through sponsorships and stuff, which is very different. TikTok I make no money through because my following is so much smaller there. Although I just hit 100,000 followers, which is really exciting. My following is so much smaller there. I still get decent views, but my following is so much smaller there that I charge, well, technically I'm charging way less. And for me, it just isn't worth it. I don't want to flood for the amount that I'm charging, it's not worth it for me to flood my page with sponsored stuff. So I just generally just turn it down and I'd rather just focus on Instagram or whatever. And sponsored content performs so poorly on TikTok unless the brand puts money behind the ad spend. Here's if you're interested. I find this stuff interesting and I'm just talking non-stop as I always do. The number one thing that I use TikTok for is reconnecting with people that used to follow me, because that's the number one thing that happens there. I just had a video go viral, got 2 million views, one before that got 500,000, and it was just full of comments oh my god, I used to watch you back in the day, I used to watch you, and then refollowing me because of that. It's like a rediscovery. That's what TikTok is for me. Instagram is nurturing. Those are the people that have been following me the longest, that are probably the most loyal of my followers in terms of have stuck around for the longest period of time. So it's not really discoverability on Instagram. It's just my home base. And that's what YouTube used to be, but isn't really anymore. I don't know. I didn't know where I belonged. The kind of content that I posted I feel like everyone moved away from YouTube, but the difference is with the Americans moving away, that's fine because they earn money from TikTok. Whereas TikTok isn't monetized in Australia, which is so annoying. I don't know why it still isn't out. I'm gonna go over with a bit of this blush. Again, what a waste of covering this beautiful blush up. But it says Incandescent Electra by Hourglass. I don't even know if it's still available. Wait, why am I doing this now? I haven't even put on my powder yet. So I should be posting more on YouTube because I can monetize the ads, but I don't know what to post. I was doing Life of Loz content for a while, vlogs. But even then, I find that I didn't really enjoy filming them after a while. I'm using this color here. It's by Natasha Denona, their new Golden Highlighter Trio palette. So yeah, that's why I kind of just disappeared because I'm I don't know. I was doing a bit of fashion stuff for a while. That was fun. I don't know. Whereas on Instagram, it's just the randomest stuff ever. You ask anyone that follows me closely, you have no idea what I'm going to be talking about on any given day. Absolutely no idea. It is wild. Some days, I kind of use it as a journal. I just, as soon as the thought enters my head, I'm I want to talk about that. And so yeah, it makes for diversified content, but... Alright, Hourglass. I really am heavily leaning towards Hourglass. I just love it. This is the Vanish Translucent Setting Powder. It's a shame that my hair is the one thing that I can't teach myself how to do. I mean, look, if I really committed myself, maybe I could, but I don't trust myself. Everything else I can do myself. I tint my own eyelashes myself now. I do my own gel nails. I've just started back up using my IPL device for hair removal. I don't like beauty appointments. I just can't relax. Same thing with like going on an airplane. I just find like it's just so much time just in one place. Get me out of there. Get me out of there. And I'm also not a chatty person, so I don't actually like having to make conversation with people. It's fine. Like sometimes I will find it genuinely interesting, the chats we're having, but like I need to go to one of those salons where there's a sign that says, where, or like when you're booking your appointment, you can check a little box that says, I don't want to talk today. I hate small talk. I hate it. Ugh. Oh, that's why I hate having phone calls with any business calls. There's so much small talk. Then I think even hairdressers, for example, don't they get tired of talking to people? Oh, you must be so tired of talking to people. It'd be a really emotionally intensive job. A lot of people would talk to you about like their deepest, darkest secrets and stuff. Not secrets, but like, you know, they would vent to you because women just do that. It's just like a lot to take on mentally. What am I even talking about? I trimmed my nose hairs the other day and like normally I wouldn't bother, but when I watch my videos back when I'm editing them and I look up like this, because I use loose powders, I can see that the powders are all trapped in my hair. But I remember the first time I ever trimmed my nose hairs. Immediately after I panicked and I was like, oh my God, like are all these bacteria and germs and like airborne viruses or something going to enter my nose now, and then now there's nothing in there to trap them because I just got rid of all the hairs in my nose, and I freaked out and I was like, oh my God, it's actually really bad. And I still didn't even know the answer to that. It's actually really bad to trim your nose hairs, right? Because they're there for a reason. Like they're protecting your brain from airborne brain-eating amoebas or whatever. Anyway, this is how I've been doing my eyebrows recently. Lounge Face is my brand, obviously. I used to use the Lounge Face brow pencil. This is in Taupe, my shade, all over my brows. And then I'd set them in place with the clear brow gel by Lounge Face. But now I use this from basically here to here. And then I use this, the brow builder, from here to here. And I'm obsessed with it. Obsessed. So brow builder, for those of you who don't know, it's like a moussey tinted brow gel. So think of a pomade that's diluted down so it's not gonna look crazy on your brows. Diluted down to the point where you can quickly brush it through your brows and it'll fluff your brows up, it'll make them look fuller. It's perfect if you've already got really beautiful full brows and you don't necessarily like a really crisp, clean, defined brow like I do. This is good if you do like that. Or if you have bald patches, or if you like, it's got a really fine tip. If you like really feathery strokes, like you can do anything with this. This is also the same thing. You can also set your brows with this. You can use this and then set your brows with this. Like I'm kind of doing that now. But anyway, so I'm just really happy that I found this way of doing it because I kind of like just neglected the brow builder for so long because I was like, you know, this isn't really for me. I don't have like natural full fluffy brows, but I do. I just have them here. They just end there. Like I don't have fullness here. So we brush up, get them into the shape. I do have brow tattoo, but by the time you end up applying, you know, foundation and concealer and powder and all that, it ends up just kind of being covered. Okay, so I like to start in the middle as well. That's something I've changed recently. Kind of start in the middle and then find the length that you want it to be. And then I'll go underneath, create that shape. Just support the arch a little bit, kind of shape the arch. And then the reason I do it from the middle is that when I was kind of doing it from the outside first, like the top and the bottom, and I find that makes my brows thicker than they needed to be, whereas that's like a good thickness. I like the look of thinner brows on me. This is just so creamy, like look how beautiful that is. That is what I love about these products. Oh, I never understood that. So many brow pencils. They're so dry and hard that half of your eyebrow hairs get plucked out as you're applying the product. Oh, it's a bit overexposed, but there we go. Thank you so much. That's how that looks. I might just wipe off a bit of that bit on the tip because I don't need all of that right now. I start from like the bottom of my brow here to kind of define the bottom of my brow. I mean, oh my God, just look at that already. And then just gently brush up. Now I have to brush these hairs I can't brush them up because of the tattoo. Like you'll see the tattoo, the shadows of the tattoo underneath. So I just keep basically just use this to shape your brows too. It kind of adds a bit of like grip to them, so you can kind of shape them how you like. Oh, yes. All that's done is just lift at the beginning of my brows, give them a bit of like fluffiness. It's less defined and angular and kind of blocky, but I still have that definition there where I want it. The Lounge Face eyelash curler is also now finally available. Probably should have mentioned that earlier. I actually might even go in again, get some more product on my wand. And the good thing about using this as well over the top of your brows once you've used the brow pencil is that it kind of takes off some of that foundation dust and powder dust. You know, after you've set your face and your eyebrows are a little bit dusty. I just love how it's a bit fluffier than I normally do, which I know it's still like not fluffy compared to how most people do their brows, but I really like that, and that's all that matters. For some reason, I've been enjoying using a really light color on my eyelids. I think I accidentally did it one day, and must have been doing stories or some kind of content, and I was like, hey, I like my makeup today, something looks different. And I think it just brightened my eyes a little bit more. Like I used to love the transformation of a smoky eye look, like a dark color in my eyes or like a copper color. And I do every now and then. Like I do like how it makes my eyes pop, but I feel like I look better without it. Like I feel like I look better with really light colors. The bronzy copper color makes my eyes look more blue, but the lighter, really minimal like eyeshadow makes them look bigger, which I prefer. I'm going to use the Hourglass, again, Ambient Strobe Lighting Powder in Incandescent Strobe Light. And as you can see, it's just a really light color. I might even actually bring it up a little bit. It kind of just like dusts away into nothing, as with a lot of Hourglass products, which is why I like them. Normally people online will poke out something about your appearance and they'll say like, one of your eyes is bigger than the other or something. And the person won't have noticed that until that person points it out and then creates like an insecurity for them. I've had the opposite thing with, and it's people have always mentioned it to me, and I never noticed it. With my inner corners, you can't tell now because I've got makeup on. But when I don't have makeup on, people are like, what are you using on your inner corners? And I was like, I don't use anything on my inner corners. And they say, but they're like lighter than the rest of your face. And someone literally like accused me, insinuated that I was lying, that I was like trying to gatekeep a product. Like what, I'm like the last person to gatekeep anything. And what kind of weirdo would gatekeep what they use on their inner corner? And I didn't, and I still don't even think about it. Like, I don't think about it until someone mentions it to me. Like I never notice it on my own face. So I mean, I'm glad it's not like a, you're ugly, your face is weird type thing. I'm going to line my tight line. Is that what it's called? Is waterline just like the bottom of your eye? What's the top one called? That's tight lining, isn't it? It's been a while since I've delved into my beauty guru days. Beauty guru, what a name. What a, ugh. Feels gross referring to yourself as a guru of any kind. Now this is let me clean it before I showcase it on live TV. This is the Lounge Face eyelash curler. Wow, it's got so much eyeliner on it. I never realized it comes off that much. They've been in stock for like a month and a bit, but I didn't have the right sized shipping boxes. Now I've finally got my shipping boxes, so I can actually list them, I can sell them. Yay! So this is her. Now this is a bit different than what you may be used to. It's really, I love it. It's like ergonomic. It's much easier than trying to squeeze your fingers into like two of those little small like these things. You obviously need one in there for like leverage, and you don't want your, like, it still isn't going to fall off your hand if you, anyway, whatever. There are many different ways to curl your lashes. I like to go as close to the root, pulse a few times. You can just leave it like that. Sometimes I will also like kind of go from the middle of the lash and then to the tip to make them actually like curly, to curl. But for the purpose of today's video, I will not be doing that. Can you see? You probably can't because my lashes are covered in powder and stuff, but you can see. Just move it around. Don't start like heavily clamping down until you get it in the right position. I like to move my eyes around as well just to make sure that all of the lashes are in there. So weird. I never needed to use an eyelash curler when I was younger. And I'm not even talking like a teenager. I'm talking like 2017 maybe. My lashes are still long, but they like lost their curl. Rude. New packaging, baby. Orange face lash. Not currently available. It will be. I just got the email. Probably, hopefully in a month from now. Give a few weeks. I won't say take a few weeks, give or take. It's give a few weeks because there's a bit of a process, but it's close. It's close, ladies and gentlemen. So I feel like I never talk about my mascara technique anymore. I'll just talk through what I'm doing as I'm doing it. So I blink down as I apply every layer because I want my lashes to drag against the wand to deposit as much product as possible. I use the inside of the wand and do little wiggly motions to get as close to the inner corner as I can. And use the outside of the wand to get as close to the outer lashes as I can. And then I will do a couple of these back ones because that makes the top of the lash much thicker. And then I'll just keep building it up. This wand is designed to separate your lashes. That's why it's silicone, that's why it's spiky, that's why the bristles are long, because this mascara is a tubing formula, but it's a volumizing tubing formula, which is really hard to come across. So in order to get that volume without it getting clumpy, you need a wand that's going to separate those lashes as you go. And as you can see, I haven't gone back into the thing once, back into the tube, because you just want to keep going until you've reached the intensity that you like. And when you start to go back into the tube too early, you're going to get product accumulating on the outside of the tube, and it's going to get messy. Like, I got long lashes as well, so even more proof that you only need to do one pass. Like, if you've got shorter lashes, you could probably do like your bottom lashes in the same dunk. But that's how it looks. Let me put that back in. Hope you can see properly. Now, controversially, I do like to do my lower lashes as well. Bless the people that are like, you know, they say it in the nicest way possible. I just love to see what you look like with only upper mascara. They say it so nicely because I can tell they don't like the lower mascara, and that's fine. I know, ow, it's divisive. Especially with Gen Z preferring, I think it's because they wear a lot of lash extensions and they're used to seeing like heavy top lashes but bare bottom lashes, and it's also the whole like clean girl aesthetic. Ooh, I hate that name. So gross. Yeah, so they're just people, and I get it, like sometimes I can do it really heavily and it maybe is too much for most people, but I like it, to be honest. Like especially as I'm getting older, like the other day I was like, okay, I'm gonna listen to you guys. I'm gonna just do it on my, God, this mascara is good. I'm just gonna do it on my upper lashes and I'll leave my lower lashes bare. And no thanks. It looks fine. It does not look bad. I'm not saying it looks bad because I know it doesn't look bad. But as you can see, I'm just gonna pull that mascara off my lower lashes because I'm not ready to put mascara on them yet and I don't want it to dry. And then, because as soon as this mascara dries, do not layer on top of dry mascara. That's why I only do one eye at a time, because as soon as it dries, it's dried, and if you try to layer on top of dry mascara, that's when you're gonna get clumped, that's when you're gonna get flaking. Like, you need to just do it while it's still wet, and it dries quickly, which is why it's so good at building volume, but also why you need to stick to one eye at a time. Okay. I don't know if you can see, it's probably not as bad on camera, but like, because I'm human, we all have them, there's nothing wrong with it, but I've got these, I've always had them, but as you get older, they're gonna, you know, become more pronounced, obviously. These lines underneath my eyes. And they're not as bad at the moment because I've just freshly applied my makeup, but at the end of the day, like, the makeup creases, it's separating. I mean, it's already creasing. Yeah, it separates. And so at the end of the day, when I only do my upper mascara, it's not a vibe. It just doesn't look good. I look tired. My face is kind of like melted or something. It just isn't my thing. I'm sure some people would still prefer it, and that's, you know, power to ya, but my face, my rules. If I accidentally like cross lashes over, I'll get some, don't try this at home, legal disclaimer, don't try this at home. I'll get tweezers and I'll like separate the ones that have crossed over. Okay, I think they're dry enough now. So what I like to do is curve my fingers so they're in the shape of my actual eyeball. And just really gently push them up. Now the risk that I'm taking here is that I might accidentally squish some of my lashes together, which goes against what I've just done. Separating them. I mean, look at that, guys. Now, just a little side note. This mascara is getting a rebrand from the pink and the white tube. I mean, yeah, you've probably all seen it before, but everything's the same. Ingredients, identical. Wand, identical. Everything's the same. It's literally just the outside of the packaging that is different. Now, this is dangerous territory for me because I've got quite a bit of product on the wand. I'm actually going to take a little bit off, to be honest, because I don't want too much on my lower lashes. So I've just kind of rolled it around a little bit. Normally I'll just do like one eye, my upper, and then whatever's left, I'll do my lower lashes. But because I was showing you the way that I was showing you, yeah, this has still got too much on it. So what I'll probably do, actually what I'll just do, sorry, I can't talk when I'm doing this. I'm just gonna wiggle. I do the under thing here as well, but that's mainly because these lashes on the end, I'm gonna clean it up, are really fine and they don't really hold mascara very well. So I've got to do the little under thing, whereas these ones here, because I don't really rub my eyes there, they're like long and healthy. And there's those little stragglers on the outside. If I go underneath on these ones, they get too long. This is how crazy I am about my mascara. I've actually lost quite a few lashes. You know how there's the different phases? I'm in the one where I'm losing lashes. I've got like a bald patch here. I've got this little like mole thing on my lower eyelash, and I'm scared it's gonna be the same thing that I had here that I got removed, that the surgeon said it'll just keep getting bigger. Because I'm like, I don't know if you can cut something out there. That's a little bit close to my eyeball. I think actually Shannon XO just got she had like a mole here removed. But that's different because that's like right, that's a bit more of a safer zone. That's like right under my eyeball. I have the same thing here. I need to go speak to a doctor about that. That, like I've always had like these moles there, but this one's like raised now and I can see it has a shadow and I notice it in all my videos and it bugs me. So I think I need to get that checked out. It's so annoying. I took Reese in a couple of years ago to get his skin checked because he's super tanned, isn't careful with the sun, which drives me up at the wall, and he's getting better, but I have to nag him like I'm his mum or something to get his skin checked because he's got like freckles on his back and I'm like, oh, I'm worried about that, I'm worried about that, I'm worried about that. Meanwhile, I'm covering my skin up like I'm Edward Cullen in the sun or something. And so we went into the thing. He had his skin all checked and everything. Not a single prob. No probs. Meanwhile, I had like a weird freckle behind my ear. Love it, thank you so much. I cover up every ounce of my skin. I'm never out in the sun. I love being fair. He could probably lay in the sun like a rotisserie chicken for the rest of his life and he wouldn't get any kind of skin issues because his skin is just, his whole family can get really tanned. Can't relate. I've got 3 lip liners here. These are the 3 that I want to release for Lounge Face. I'm just waiting to pull the plug on ordering them. There's just something so scary about like committing to a whole new product line. I'm like, what if it can be better? This is what I don't like about being a perfectionist, is that I'm like, it could probably be better. And then I'm convinced that the moment I place the order, I'm gonna be like, actually, I don't know if I like this anymore, which doesn't happen. But anyway, I'm gonna apply color. I'm gonna do my lips but better shade to show you because I love this one so much. Now, it's worth noting that this is like the default color. I'll show you. I'll do it on half. Like, are you kidding me? I'm trying to get a good angle. It's just more cool toned. It's still got that pinkiness to it because it has to because we're putting on lips. I've done videos on this before. I'm just so excited for this to come out. But something that I like to do, I'll apply it and then I've already done it on my upper lips, but I like to blend it out. It just looks so much more natural this way, and that's what I'm going for with my makeup now. I don't want that like really contrasty look, which is a whole different, it isn't like a bad look, it's just a different style of makeup and it's not my style. Oh my god, look how good that looks. The thing with this is that, and with all of the shades, one single pass is one shade. If you go over that again, you get one shade darker, and if you keep going over it, you get a completely different shade. So you can customize it to suit your lips. Like if this is too dark for you, you can just blend it out with your finger like I did, and it shears it out completely, and then just add a bit of like, you know, contrast or a bit more of the product in the areas that you want more definition, like the Cupid's bow or whatever. But I just love that it's like, I don't get my lips done anymore. Every now and then I'm like, oh, it's really tempting, and I'll never say never, because it does feel really nice to have your lips done. But I also just love, I think people look younger when they don't have their lips done. As I was saying, I feel like this looks like my lips but better shade. So it looks like my lips are bigger than they are without having to have super overlined them, or without using a really obvious shade of lip liner that doesn't match my natural lips, or without having lip injections. Like, it just gives me exactly what I want. So I just love it. Like, I never fill my lips in with these because I don't want that look. I just want the outline. I think after doing this, I think I'm gonna place the order. Like, I think I'm just reignited my love for these. It's such a big financial commitment to commit to an order. Makeup Max Pout Pop in glazed. This is just another cool toned color. It's quite, yeah, it's almost like we need more of this in 2024. We need more cool toned. So this is like my everyday makeup these days. I very much enjoy it. Lots of great products. I hope you enjoyed this, the kind of makeup-y beauty with a little hint of ranty, my usual content basically. Thank you all so much for watching. It's fun to do these kinds of videos. When I'm in the mood for them, they're really good. I think that's the issue, is that if I do them so often, then I'll run out of things to talk about. Thank you for watching. You guys are wonderful. Thank you for supporting. Thank you for watching this far in. Oh my God, that's amazing. I'll speak to you all some other time, probably in a few minutes on Instagram, on Instagram stories. Bye guys.